Though this girl has a sweet, harmless look, she is a living nightmare for the corrupt. Chloe isn't an ordinary killer. She targets the monsters who deserve to be purged from society. No one is born a killer, and a dark tragedy from Chloe's past pushed her down this path. Years ago, while her family was driving through an isolated area, her parents had an explosive argument. In a fit of rage, they abandoned 5-year-old Chloe on the side of a deserted road. As she chased after their car, 2 loud gunshots echoed through the trees, changing her life forever. When Chloe's aunt, Martha, called the authorities, a massive search only uncovered the bodies of her parents, with no sign of the little girl. Everyone assumed the worst, but a week later, a miracle occurred. 5-year-old Chloe calmly walked out of the dense woods completely unharmed. When a police psychologist visited her home to investigate how a toddler survived a week in the wild, Martha explained that Chloe had repressed the entire trauma. However, the doctor noticed a family photo where the father's face was completely aggressively scratched out with black ink. When questioned, little Chloe chillingly explained that her father was a bad person, and bad people are black objects that naturally need to disappear. Martha thought it was just a strange childhood phase, but the very next day, Chloe witnessed a cruel act in the park. A drunk neighbor was boiling dog meat in a massive iron pot. The very pet a heartbroken local boy had been desperately searching for. As the boy wept, the neighbor mocked his grief. Back at home, 5-year-old Chloe quietly slipped into that neighbor's house while he slept and lit a charcoal fire, suffocating him in his sleep. Fast forward 10 years, and Chloe is now a quiet high school student. One afternoon, she and her classmate, Nina, discover the lifeless body of a stray cat they routinely fed in an abandoned school restroom. Chloe notices a strange chemical odor on a discarded can of cat food nearby, realizing someone on campus intentionally poisoned the animal. From the rooftop, Chloe scans the courtyard until her eyes lock onto a student with a sinister smirk. When Chloe asks Nina what she would do to the culprit, Nina vents that she would kill him. That evening, the cat killer opens a bottle of milk at home, completely unaware it has been tampered with. Chloe had slipped into his apartment earlier, spiked his milk with antifreeze, and shaken the bottle to mask the chemical consistency. As the poison takes hold, causing severe dizziness, the boy stumbles toward the exit only to find Chloe has locked him inside from the outer latch. He collapses and dies right at the door. Fascinated by the thrill of delivering street justice, Chloe begins actively hunting criminals who slipped through the cracks of the legal system. Her next target is a man featured on the news, a predator acquitted of horrific assaults due to a technicality. Chloe stalks him to a local cafe. She commands her tech-savvy associates to disguise themselves as network technicians to enter the shop, clone the predator's phone data, and intercept his messages. The downloaded files reveal a sickening network of hidden camera enthusiasts begging him for new illicit campus footage. To orchestrate the perfect execution with an airtight alibi, Chloe conducts lethal chemical experiments at home using potato chips, oil, and specialized adhesive formulas, testing the lethal compound on mice. If you're enjoying this recap so far, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more movie recaps like this. Chloe organizes a network of operatives who all carry a distinct black doll as a symbol of their allegiance. She texts her group, offering a massive financial bounty for any illicit photos captured at the upcoming university festival. Naturally, the predator bites the bait. He arrives at the festival wearing a black hat and carrying a rigged water bottle, both secretly embedded with pinhole cameras to film under girls' skirts. The predator eventually steps into a crowded diner, completely unaware his execution has already been set in motion. One of Chloe's operatives slips a custom chemical oil mixture into the kitchen supply. The chef unwittingly fries a batch of potatoes in the toxic blend and serves them to the target. He eats them, unknowingly ingesting the first phase of the trap. Outside, another operative pours a secondary reactant into a bubble machine, while a third hits the target with a rigged water balloon during a campus game. The 3 harmless, everyday chemicals mix perfectly inside his system, causing him to drop dead on the sidewalk. Chloe's alibi is flawless since she was nowhere near the scene. However, an unexpected variable throws off the plan. A distraught victim of the predator approaches his collapsing body, begs him to delete her footage, and out of sheer panic, stabs his lifeless chest with a pocket knife. She is instantly arrested for murder. Uncomfortable with an innocent woman taking the fall for her masterpiece, Chloe hacks a massive digital billboard in a public square the next day, broadcasting the exact chemical breakdown of how the predator actually died to clear the woman's name. In the stunned crowd viewing the broadcast, a sharp investigator named Clara takes note of the highly sophisticated murder method. Clara tracks a lead to the apartment of an eccentric digital hacker, breaking past his defenses. In his room, Clara discovers one of the signature black dolls. Though the hacker violently forces her out before she can access his encrypted mainframe, Clara confirms a definitive link between the doll and the vigilante network. After she leaves, the hacker snaps a photo of Clara from his window and sends it to Chloe. Chloe is baffled to learn that Clara isn't a police officer, but rather a brilliant lead investigator for a major insurance company. Intrigued, Chloe searches her Aunt Martha's closet, uncover a corporate insurance security badge, and uses it to infiltrate the firm disguised as a night custodian. Slipping into Clara's private office, Chloe finds a massive whiteboard detailing every step of her vigilante operations. She quickly attaches a microscopic audio bug inside the overhead light fixture. Suddenly, Clara's junior assistant enters to water the office plants. As he prepares to leave, he notices an out-of-place trash bin, wheeling it down to the basement parking garage. The moment his back is turned, Chloe climbs out of the bin. She calmly walks past him, but the distinct scent of her expensive perfume fills the corridor. Realizing a night janitor wouldn't be wearing luxury perfume, the assistant gives chase. Chloe bolts, sprinting up to the roof. Pressed to the edge with nowhere to hide, she leaps from the building. Despite fracturing her leg in the fall, she manages to limp onto a passing transit bus and escape. The assistant immediately reports the encounter to Clara, noting the suspect's severe right leg injury. Clara uses data tracking to narrow down the suspects and confronts Chloe directly at her school, demanding she stand to check her mobility. In a stunning display of willpower, Chloe stands up and aggressively jumps off an elevated stage, masking her agony with a perfectly serene smile. Confused and convinced she has the wrong girl, Clara exits. The second Clara is out of sight, Chloe downs a handful of heavy painkillers to stop from collapsing. To completely throw Clara off her scent, Chloe orchestrates a brilliant diversion at a local park. Clara spots a young girl pouring a suspicious liquid into a children's wading pool and panics, screaming for the families to evacuate. But as Clara rushes forward, the girl calmly drinks the remaining fluid from the bottle, revealing it was nothing but ordinary mineral water. While Clara is distracted by the decoy, Chloe's network strikes her team. A lethal dose of odorless gas fills Clara's surveillance van, locking the doors automatically from the outside. Clara's field agents lose consciousness within minutes. When Clara returns to the scene, the surveillance van has completely vanished, making her realize she is dealing with a criminal mastermind. Clara's agents awaken in absolute pitch-black darkness inside a heavy steel shipping container. Feeling freezing water rising around their ankles, they realize they have been dropped directly into a body of water. They frantically call Clara via a concealed radio. Clara and her assistant sprint to the local docks, scanning the open ocean, but find absolutely nothing. Staring at the calm sea, Clara realizes the harbor layout doesn't match the coordinates. She analyzes the regional topography on her tablet and focuses on a deep, isolated freshwater lake near the original parking grid. By now, the shipping container is entirely submerged, the intense water pressure buckling the steel frame. Working together in the freezing dark, the trapped agents manage to pry open an emergency floor hatch. Knowing the heavy seal must be held open manually from the inside, the lead agent instructs his partner to swim free first. The agent breaks the surface of the lake, gasping for air, just as Clara arrives with a rescue boat. While Clara rescues her unconscious partner from the water, Chloe watches the entire operation through binoculars from a nearby ridge. Suddenly, a man approaches Chloe, claiming to be from a birdwatching society. He enthusiastically manipulates her binoculars to point out a rare bird, leaving her disoriented and dizzy. Before she can refocus on Clara, the man forces a brown paper package into her hands and vanishes. Within seconds, patrol officers ambush Chloe, acting on an anonymous tip about a drug courier. They uncover illicit substances inside the stranger's package and arrest a bewildered Chloe. This elaborate setup was engineered by an operative working for the real power behind the scenes. Once Clara confirms her agents are safe, she races to the precinct upon learning Chloe is in custody. Meanwhile, a shadowy figure answers one of many disposable phones in his bag. He intercepts a cloned message showing Chloe's aunt, Martha, booking an emergency flight abroad. Believing Chloe will follow, a massive web of plainclothes stalkers floods the suburban airport. Curiously, these operatives aren't law enforcement. They take orders directly from a ruthless 60-year-old woman named Madame Young, the billionaire owner of the insurance firm whose identity remains shrouded in mystery. As Martha arrives at the terminal, Young's operatives track her every move but find no sign of Chloe. Suddenly, Martha receives a text from Chloe arranging a meeting at the outer gates. Outside, Clara and her assistant wait anxiously as the boarding announcement echoes. Martha answers a frantic call from her niece. Tracking the signal, Young's high-tech security team zones in on the terminal, but they find only a decoy, Chloe's hacker associate, holding the device. Chloe is actually sitting safely at home, using a hijacked two-way frequency to speak through the phone before the hacker tosses it into the trash. Young's meticulous trap yields absolutely nothing, forcing her army to retreat. Chloe smiles in the dark, deeply proud of outsmarting her powerful adversaries. But her complacency is cut short. A shadow falls across her door. Clara has independently tracked her to the safe house. Clara spies Chloe through a mirror reflection and tries to force the door, but Chloe holds it shut. Realizing she can't stall forever, Chloe flings the door open and swings a heavy shovel. Clara dodges and slams the door back, reversing the struggle as she tries to trap Chloe inside. Despite being over 50 and out of shape from a sedentary lifestyle, Clara fights hard, but she is ultimately no match for the athletic teenager. Chloe forces her way out and unleashes a barrage of brutal punches, nearly delivering a fatal blow to the investigator. In a desperate bid to survive, Clara grabs a nearby can of spray paint, blasting it directly into Chloe's eyes. Blinded and disoriented, Chloe is suddenly slammed against the wall and handcuffed directly to Clara. To ensure there is no escape, Clara chills Chloe by swallowing the handcuff key. Refusing to submit, Chloe drags Clara across the room toward a workstation, lifting a massive carving knife to sever Clara's wrist. Just before the blade drops, a thick fishing net flies through the air, trapping them both. As Clara's mute assistant, Chloe acts instantly, using the heavy knife to shred the netting. Terrified, the assistant bolts. Chloe violently hurls Clara against the wall, picks a hairpin from her hair, and expertly picks the handcuff lock before fleeing into the night. She runs straight into a police patrol led by the assistant. But because he cannot speak, Chloe uses a few quick, manipulative words to convince the officers he is a stalker. By the time the police realize they've been duped, Chloe has commandeered a surfboard, paddling into the dark water and vanishing just as Clara's team launches a pursuit yacht. The conspiracy deepens at a powerful megacorporation where the executive board is fiercely loyal to their chairman, a corrupt billionaire named Vance who is also the leading mayoral candidate. Clara suspects Vance is the ultimate target of Chloe's vigilante justice. Seeking to warn him, Clara and her assistant secure a meeting at his high-rise office. Clara offers him a bottle of juice as a gesture, but the hyper-vigilant Vance sets it aside without breaking the seal. Throughout the interrogation regarding the campus camera network, Vance maintains a flawless, charismatic smile while expertly deflecting every question. Clara knows a hypocrite when she sees one. To prove it, she steps into the executive elevator, counts down 5 seconds, and abruptly rides back up to his office. She catches Vance mid-tantrum, violently smashing a glass against the wall in a perverted rage. Pretending she forgot her keys, Clara catches sight of the broken shards embedded in his expensive trousers, confirming he is a monster. The investigation team faces a profound moral dilemma. A predator like Vance deserves to die, so should they even bother protecting him from Chloe? Meanwhile, with her safe house compromised, Chloe is forced into a vagrant lifestyle, sleeping under concrete bridges. Yet even in the freezing cold, her mind remains razor-sharp as she maps out Vance's execution. The next morning, Vance leaves his mansion flanked by a convoy of armored trucks and an army of black-suited bodyguards. But wealth cannot shield him from Chloe's wrath. A mysterious crate appears at the corporate gates, exploding the moment security approaches. A rattled Vance berates his security chief and spends millions to turn his upcoming campaign gala into an impenetrable fortress. On the night of the gala, Clara's team infiltrates the venue disguised as catering staff. Chloe's hacker associate blends into the crowd as well, wheeling a high-tech food cart into the main exhibition hall. He activates a remote switch, deploying a fleet of small, distracting automated robots that captivate the guests. Watching the security feeds, Chloe gasps when she spots her Aunt Martha wandering directly into the venue to find her. Panic setting in, Chloe orders the hacker to drag Martha out. But Martha resists, demanding to know where her niece is hiding. Clara notices the commotion just as the hacker abandons Martha to save himself. Sensing a trap, Vance leaps away from his presentation stage seconds before a massive explosion rips through the hall. In the burning chaos, Vance flees into a prearranged underground bunker. Martha spots him and pursues him into the dark tunnels. Terrified for her aunt's safety, Chloe calls Martha's phone while sprinting toward the building. But as Chloe dashes across the street, a speeding car strikes her. Hearing the screeching brakes through the line, a distracted Martha stumbles blindly backward, straight into an automated industrial trap Chloe had originally rigged for Vance. A jagged steel rebar impales Martha's chest. By the time Chloe limps into the tunnel, her aunt has taken her final breath. With Martha gone, the vigilante mission loses all meaning. To make matters worse, Vance is dragged out of the bunker by Madame Young's rogue security team. Chloe has no time to weep. The hacker pulls her into a getaway car just as the facility burns. Young's men drive Vance to a desolate, abandoned shipyard. Young calls the captive billionaire, and their tense exchange reveals they share a dark, criminal past. Vance begs her to trust his silence, but Young coldly replies that only the dead keep secrets. Her lead cleaner steps forward, plunging a syringe of a lethal paralytic into Vance's neck. As he loses consciousness, they strap him into the driver's seat of his own luxury sedan, shifting the transmission into neutral. The henchman wedges a heavy block of wood against the accelerator pedal and ties a thick industrial rope to the gear shift, preparing to simulate a tragic, high-speed accident. The two executioners pull the industrial rope hard, forcing Vance's sedan to rocket forward. To guarantee no loose ends, Madame Young's butler calmly sets the oil-slicked ground ablaze. The moment the speeding vehicle hits the fire, the engine detonates in a massive fireball. The elite cover-up works flawlessly, and the authorities write the entire incident off as a tragic traffic accident. Following the cover-up, a quiet funeral is held for Chloe's aunt, Martha. Yet, her only surviving relative is missing from the crowd. Chloe is sitting in a nearby diner, hollow and drifting without a purpose. When a reckless mother nearby aggressively throws a shoe that lands right on Chloe's table, the diner owner rushes over to apologize. Chloe pretends not to care, but her dark instinct reawakens. Stalking the abusive mother onto a high terrace, Chloe forcefully shoves the shoe into the woman's mouth and prepares to hurl her over the edge. The woman fights back with frantic strength, breaking free and sprinting to escape, but Chloe easily corners her and throws her off the roof to her death. Chloe's hacker associate, Toby, disposes of the body in a river. He gently reminds Chloe that if she wants a true purpose, she needs to destroy the woman responsible for her aunt's death, Madame Young. Knowing Clara is a reclusive gaming addict, Chloe creates an anonymous profile to lure the investigator out, suggesting a face-to-face meeting. Clara sets a tactical trap at the rendezvous point, but Chloe easily outsmarts her. Disguised as a waiter, Chloe slips behind an undercover officer, smiles coldly as she wraps an arm around his shoulder, and slices his arm open with a hidden dagger before his backup can react. She calls Clara, mocking her by revealing that Vance was assassinated by a mysterious entity. Chloe points out a glaring contradiction. The news claims Vance died in a random crash, yet Clara's crooked superior, Chief Inspector Hayes, was just handed a major promotion. Chloe hangs up, marking Hayes as her next target. Chloe ambushes Hayes at her home, strangling her unconscious with a scarf. The next day, Clara treks up an isolated mountain trail to confront Madame Jung about the Vance cover-up. Jung stubbornly maintains the accident story and severely berates Clara for repeatedly letting Chloe escape. Suddenly, Chloe emerges from the trees wearing Clara's stolen jacket. Before Clara can process the shock, Jung's private security ambushes them. They lock Clara inside a heavy wooden barrel and kick it down the steep mountain slope. The barrel crashes through the dense forest and rocks before plunging into a deep, subterranean cavern. Clara wakes up trapped on a narrow, unstable ledge over a pitch-black abyss. She drops her shoe into the darkness and hears absolutely nothing, realizing a single misstep means certain death. Miles away, Clara's dedicated assistants trace her hidden GPS beacon, finding her discarded shoe inside a city garbage truck. Back in the cavern, Clara tries to scale the damp walls, but an ancient, rusted emergency ladder snaps under her weight, sending her plummeting. Luckily, she lands squarely on a rotted fishing net, which cushions her fall and saves her life. After a grueling night, Clara uses a sharp metal can lid to shred the net and braid it into a makeshift climbing rope. She spends a grueling day scaling the 100-meter cavern walls. Just as her physical strength hits its absolute limit at the cavern's lip, a hand reaches down to pull her up. It's Madame Jung. Jung is a fiercely tyrannical mother who once shoved her youngest son's face into boiling chili sauce simply for showing weakness in public. To secure her eldest son's political campaign for mayor, Jung organizes a massive press gala. When a young woman politely declines the candidate's food sample, Jung's younger son steps in, charmingly persuading the girl to eat. Enraged by the breach of protocol, Jung drags her younger son to the kitchen, discovering the girl is actually a blackmailer targeting the family. Jung viciously punishes him. Following the gala, Jung contacts Chloe, attempting to hire the vigilante to execute the blackmailers. Chloe refuses, stating she only eliminates real monsters, but Jung skillfully fabricates a list of horrific crimes committed by the targets to manipulate her. Chloe takes the bait. She tracks the primary blackmailer into a crowded elevator, hiding behind a massive cluster of balloons. She releases one to cover the security camera before detonating the rest, releasing a lethal, highly pressurized toxic gas. The trapped man desperately hits the emergency alarm, but Chloe has rigged the console, electrocuting him instantly. It is Chloe's easiest kill yet, with Jung's cleanup crew handling the aftermath. However, Chloe begins to doubt Jung's motives. Her next target is a rogue investigative journalist who disguises himself to expose elite scandals. Chloe infiltrates the reporter's apartment, tightly wrapping a piano wire around his neck and hanging him from the rafters. But as he gasps for air, Chloe glances at his active computer terminal and uncovers an encrypted memory card containing Vance's deepest corporate secrets. She realizes the reporter isn't a villain at all. Jung simply wants him silenced. Chloe spares his life, packs him securely into a shipping crate, and routes him safely to Toby. Clara's team intercepts the crate and rescues the reporter. Toby successfully decrypts the video files, revealing a highly altered tape of an elite yacht party from 5 years ago. Crucially, the footage has been edited to completely erase one high-profile individual from the scene. Meanwhile, Jung's observant butler realizes a massive shipping crate was smuggled out of the reporter's office before it exploded. He tracks the anomaly back to Chloe. Suspecting her betrayal, the butler ambushes Chloe with a localized sedative and locks her in a fortified basement room for a brutal interrogation. When Chloe wakes up facing a henchman with an axe, she simply smiles. Chloe breaks free, kills her captor, and prepares for final vengeance against Jung's family. The decoded files prove that Jung's youngest son is a sadistic predator who used his family's yacht to host drug-fueled parties, and Jung ordered Vance's execution to bury the evidence. Chloe corners the corrupt son outside a public temple, but a rogue victim strikes first, throwing a jar of industrial acid directly into Jung's face. In the blinding chaos, Clara arrives, using her coat to shield the camera lenses before Jung is rushed to the hospital. Clara secretly leaks the unedited yacht footage to every major news syndicate in the country. Clara's mute assistant, who secretly respects Chloe's brand of street justice, hand-delivers Vance's master USB drive to the young vigilante. Chloe and Toby immediately dispatch their trademark black dolls to every corrupt individual present on the yacht. As Chloe prepares to execute Jung's eldest son, he contacts her with a stunning counteroffer. He will pay her 1 billion won to eliminate his own mother and brother, clearing his path to power. He schedules a massive press conference to publicly condemn his family, but Chloe's covert operatives infiltrate the media pool, instigating a violent riot that swallows him alive. Simultaneously, Jung's fleeing butler finds his vehicle sabotaged on a deserted road. Chloe materializes from the fog, firing a tranquilizer dart into his skull and seizing his firearm. She slides into the back seat, facing a heavily bandaged, defenseless Madame Jung. Chloe forces her into a twisted psychological game, Jung has 60 seconds to choose between saving her surviving son or 20 innocent hostages Chloe has wired to explosives. To Chloe's absolute shock, the corrupt matriarch chooses to save the 20 hostages. Sensing a trap, Chloe tears the facial bandages away, only to find Clara staring back at her. Clara had anticipated Chloe's entire strategy, deploying her assistants to locate the rigged building and safely evacuate the 20 hostages. Clara purposefully triggers the remote detonator early, causing the abandoned facility to collapse safely while she shields her team. Suddenly, Jung's remaining death squad surrounds the theater. Jung points a firearm at Chloe, ruthlessly shooting Toby down. Clara tries to intervene, but Jung intends to slaughter them all. Chloe fires back, dragging a wounded Toby behind the stage curtains. As Jung corners the 4 survivors, Clara hurls a tactical smoke grenade. In the blinding fog, Chloe grabs Toby and flees onto a departing cargo train. Clara chases them into the moving train car, setting the stage for the final confrontation. Chloe lets out a dark, haunting laugh, asking Clara if she truly trusts her mute assistant. Chloe reveals a devastating truth. 5 years ago, Clara was a legendary prosecutor whose husband committed suicide after being falsely accused of abusing a female student. Clara had believed the lies, breaking her husband's spirit. In reality, the student's secret lover was Clara's mute assistant, who stayed silent out of sheer cowardice. He only joined Clara's team out of crippling guilt. Devastated, Clara turns on her assistant. Seizing the emotional distraction, Chloe slides a loaded pistol across the floor, challenging Clara to execute either herself or the assistant. A chaotic brawl erupts instead. Clara knocks out her assistant to protect him but is quickly overpowered by the athletic Chloe. Just as Chloe prepares to pull the trigger on the investigator, Clara musters her remaining strength, throws her arms around Chloe, and tackles them both out of the open train door. They plummet into the dense forest below, knocking them both unconscious. As dawn breaks, the endless cycle of vengeance finally hits a wall, and the authorities arrive to place the young vigilante under arrest. If this insane game of cat and mouse kept you on the edge of your seat, do me a massive favor. Smash that like button and let me know your thoughts in the comments. And hey, the thrill ride doesn't have to end here. Check out the next mind-blowing breakdown waiting for you right over on the left side of your screen. Trust me, you are going to absolutely love that one too. Winking face with tongue, see you over there.